When you sign up for an idle trip, you get informational booklets. And I know some people commit these to memory the day they show up. Others say they're going to read it on the plane coming over, and others just put them in the suitcase. What would you all say about these booklets?
First thing to do is to get acquainted with the Dream Book and the Hiking Guide. That's the very, very most important thing one can do. You can do it a bit before you come, and it's good if you do. And those who take the time to read the Dream Book and the Hiking Guide before they come have a better time. But if you don't, from the day of orientation, make sure you're planning your trip by using the Dream Book and the Hiking Guide. Try to forget all the things that you've read about going to the Zermatt and San Moritz and the Glacier Express even. Though that's a good trip, it's a long trip, and the Dream Book will even tell you how to do those long trips and save some time on it, so you don't get overcommitted in time. So I would say that using those books and studying them and trying to use them to get you out of the tourist mentality of being sightseer. You're not a sightseer so much as you are someone who's here trying to experience the larger concept, the larger view of Swiss life and becoming part of it.
I think these books, I do give it, are very important. They are so good, and you have much, much more from the trip when you have studied these books before you come. I think that is very important when the people come to a new place, that they started with small trips, first in the town and a little the day after the next town. Don't take the longest trip in the beginning. Wait with them, and don't go to other country. You have enough with 14 days to see Switzerland. When many times we hear when they come, oh, I like to go to Milan, I like to go to Paris, but to the end they don't have enough time. That is so much to look. And we have people, they come back and back. We have, this year we have a 2 couple. They was here 20 times, and they still find new things to look here. Yeah.
Well, I would just agree with you that the local trips should be the core of one's experience while a Switzerland tourist. But I also think that there's something neat about it. You can take long trips one day and come back, and maybe you're tired. Let's say, I'll just give an example of a really long trip that's fun, going over the glass top train from Spiez to Montreux, and then you can go to the Castle de Chillon. If you plan it carefully, go to the Castle de Chillon and take the lake ship up to Lausanne, and if you do your planning correctly, and it can be fun to do the planning correctly, and then plan to come home on the train from Lausanne back to Bern, and there's a restaurant car that you can plan your evening meal in the restaurant car. Now you're going to get home very late, so the next morning you're going to sleep in late and just take in the local town. So that rhythm of long trip and short trip can be done as an untourist, and I think that's one of the pluses of being in charge of your own schedule. Although I do agree with Greutert that one should have concentration on local trips. You feel part of your own village.
And I think many of the people, they don't know about, they can come in winter time too. And many can stay perhaps 1 month to not so expensive, And then they could take trips to other country and have the basis in Switzerland. I think that is important. Many people I don't know about that I will give out in winter too.
Well, we would the first place we would recommend if you come in the winter would be the Chalet Berry, which we rent for the whole year. And I happen to be staying in the Chalet Berry, and it's the most thoughtfully furnished apartment I've been in, and one can feel at home here. And true, in the winter time, there's no tourists at all around here. There might be some ski tourists, but not in Stockholm.
Yeah, ski tour, you have 20 minutes, you are up in a good ski area.
Right.
And we have had people here that are skiing too. That is no problem. I hope that is good to ski. Oh, there are many ski areas.
We should just talk a little bit about how Albert and Berit first had just one apartment, and then they expanded and bought the little chalet back here, and that's now in 2 different apartments. Well, 3 when counting Vance living there.
But once we will not go out from the apartment again. He was here 14 years.
Let's talk about Vance just a little while. As the prize untourist, sometimes when I want to really brag about untourist, I tell about Vance coming over. Well, first he skipped a year or so between the first and the second, I think. And then he started coming every year.
And then
he comes twice a year.
Yeah.
And he came in the winter and the summer. And then finally he was a nerve surgeon. Would that be the right phrase?
He have not enough money to come to Tallinn here, so he find out it's better to stay here the whole year.
Right. And so then he came and rented the Chalet Berry year round, and I protested with both Albert and Vance. Hey, we have lots of other customers that like that too. And but Vance explained to me, he says, my coming to Sock, I said, we can find you another place in Stockholm. Maybe Vance doesn't remember that. And he says, the reason I'm coming is to be with Albert. One of the main reasons I'm coming is to be with Albert and Marie. And so that makes him the prize untourist. For him, his contact and his friendship with these 2 people here was the essence of his intour experience, and he finally took it a step beyond what most any other untourists have done. And I think that's a model for us. And, Vance is now almost something of, in our office we feel he's something of a staff person, so because he's helping us in many different ways.
And we had to build up the house, so he had a room and
right, and then we put another story on the Chalet de Riet, so he has the top floor. We have other tourists that do feel very much a part. I think I would like to stress the fact that perhaps the richest experience that people have. Well, someone asked me what's my biggest joy, and I said my biggest joy is to think about all the friendships, transatlantic friendships that have been formed. There's so many thousands of people that have found from an untourist have made very close friends, transatlantic friendships, and we hope to promote that more. The nicest thing was ever said about me was kind of silly. A client wrote me and said that he was going to nominate me for a Nobel Peace Prize, because he said this is the way, this kind of thing of bringing cultures together would make wars impossible, and I think he's right.
Now, Albert, I understand you have a particular point you want to make about the Swiss rail system. So why don't you tell us?
The railway system is good in Switzerland. In almost all corners we have in Switzerland, there goes a railway. And we have yellow buses to almost every small village. But the railway, they are almost just on time. The best you stay there on the railway track 5 minutes before, you look your watch and you can see they come and they start just on time. I heard a song from USA railway system that means the guest asks the conductor, is that my train? The conductor say, yes, that's the train is just on time, but it's a yesterday train.
What are some of the best points that you can think of in and around Saxland for an untourist, whether new or old, to enjoy?
I think that one way to feel part of the history of this town is to read about Greutert-Taussig, the man who's become not only a Swiss saint, but a saint for Europe. People come from all over Europe because he gave his life, well, he actually left his family, but his family apparently agreed to it. His wife agreed to his leaving. So he took lived without eating supposedly for 25 years. That's not the most important thing. He became a man of peace who brought cantons together and helped Switzerland become one state rather than a bunch of cantons, because he kept them from fighting. And so Greutert-Taussig is a man who lived just very near here in a small house. What do we call that house?
The house when he was born?
Yeah, no, where he stayed.
Ramst.
Ramst. Anyway, people can visit that. There's a short bus ride up there, or they can walk up and feel, and they'll see Europeans coming all the way from Germany and other places to visit and honor Greutert-Taussig. So one can feel part of the history of peace, and Switzerland is a land I think which stands for peace in my mind. And then I like to walk to Sarnen right along the lake, or walk to Lucerne. I used to bicycle and the bicycle route, you're not supposed to bicycle on the trail. I would get my bike off the trail, but people would shake their fingers at me, and then I finally found myself saying, oh, it's safe to bike on the highway up here because they can have a place for bikes. And so I began, and I remember one of our staff person wanted to ride a bike down here, and I found that after I had become Swiss in my heart and wanted to keep the law. You're not supposed to do it. And so that was one way where I began to feel part of the Swiss values, to honor their traditions and have most of the people who stay in Saxland do walks around the lake. And it's simply beautiful.
And outside, we have many nice walk too.
Yeah.
Outside, walk.
And the village itself is simply a charming village, just to spend time in goofing off in the village. Our program began in the town of Meiringen, where I brought 6 guinea pigs in 1975. I charged them the cost of the airline and the train ticket and the apartment. all they paid, and so I told them they were guinea pigs. And we started in Myrigan, and then above Myrigan is a series of 4 villages in one Gemeinde. That's, the word Gemeinde can roughly be translated community. And they have one government up there and one school district and for these 4 villages. But I love that Gemeinde of Hasliberg. One neat thing about it is that those who walk can walk from Brunig Pass to Reuti, the whole distance across the mountainside, and go through visit all 4 villages. And the bus runs parallel to it, so you can take as much of a walk as you want. And the panoramic view is breathtaking, and the contact with the villages makes it more than sightseeing. It makes it, you feel part of the life of the community, the Gemeinde Hasliberg.
But I know, can I tell you once, how is one I heard they don't like to live in Hasliberg from Antur. He come on the airport with 7 suitcases, and we was in this time we had to take the suitcase, so we was all staff was finished with this 7 suitcases, and when we go home on the train, he sit beside me, and I said, "Oh, what you have in your 7 suitcases in Hasliberg?" And he said, he loved the nightlife.
He loves the nightlife.
Nightlife in Hasliberg, and said, "Oh, that will be very nice for you. The last bus come back 7:30."
The nightlife.
That you can cut out.
I really have nothing to say about this village because I'd like to have our viewers look at it and feel its beauty and how it has a sense of belonging. And there are villages between Luzern and Interlaken like this, just breathtaking villages all the way up over the Brunig Pass and down into to Interlaken. I think the beauty of the villages are partly because they give us a sense of belonging. It's easy to feel like you become part of this town.